Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'd like to take you back to November 2017, when the nation woke up to the surprise news that the country had moved to another level. Remember this?
Good morning, Zimbabwe. Fellow Zimbabweans, following the address we made on 13 November 2017, which we believe our main broadcaster, Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation, and the Herald were directed not to publicize the situation in our country, has moved to another level. Firstly, we wish to assure the nation that His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe and Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, Comrade R.G. Mugabe, and his family are safe and sound, and their security is guaranteed. We are only targeting criminals around him who are committing crimes that are causing social and economic suffering in the country in order to bring them to justice. As soon as we have accomplished our mission, we expect that the situation will return to normalcy. To the civil servants, as you are aware, there is a plan by the same individuals to influence the current purging which is taking place in the political sphere.
I'll not go any further than that. So the country moved to a new level in 2017, following the military coup. The purpose of the coup was to target the criminals around the president, who had caused all the economic, social, and political chaos. Well. You might be interested to know that the situation has moved to yet another level, because now we are being told by Comrade Geza that he has come up with a list of the individuals who are causing Zimbabwe's economic chaos. He has gone on to name 35 individuals, including the president himself. One is puzzled. So are we saying that the 2017 list of criminals was the wrong one? And this Geza list is now the definitive list of criminals. This is absolutely unbelievable. We're just going round and round in circles here. What makes Geza believe that he has got the definitive list? just as much as one could ask Sibusiso Moyo in 2017, what made him believe he has got the definitive list? To look at events since 2017, I think one can clearly conclude that the list that Sibusiso Moyo and his friends had was not the definitive list, because corruption and mismanagement and tyranny have continued. Many people have even said the situation since 2017 is worse than it was during Mugabe's time. In other words, we've jumped from the frying pan of Mugabe into the fire. And with this so-called Geza revolution, are we not finding ourselves jumping from the fire into hell's fire? The 35 individuals named by Geza does not include, for instance, himself, the men he wants to put in power if the revolution is successful, VP Chiwenga, and many, many others. Is he saying VP Chiwenga is squeaky clean? Are we not repeating the same mistake where we were given the impression that people like Mnangagwa were squeaky clean? Indeed, those 35 that is named now, in 2017, were considered squeaky clean. And those who were booted out in 2017, some of the G40 leaders, like Kasukuwere, we know that they were corrupt. We know that they were thugs. And yet, this so-called Geza revolution is talking of bringing them back. We're just going round and round in circles here. We are failing to understand what the problem is that is at the heart of it. The same individuals, Mnangagwa, Chiwenga, and the rest, these war veterans, including Geza himself, they were responsible for keeping Mugabe in power those 37 years. When they got tired of Mugabe, they are the ones who imposed Mnangagwa on the nation. The problem is the system. We have a political system here that is electing buffoons into positions of power and authority and keeping them there. This is what I mean by we have got a de facto one-party state. These leaders we have had these last 45 years have never been accountable to the people. Who elected Mnangagwa? Who elected Mugabe before him? These are all veterans. The political system in Zimbabwe does not allow for free, fair, and credible elections. The war veterans have given themselves the power to veto who rules the country. This is at the heart of our political problem. I have often played the video of some of the army chiefs reiterating that very point, swearing their allegiance to the party when they should be loyal to the country. I'll just play a video clip of one army senior officer pledging his allegiance to Zanu.
Zanu PF itatonga kusika madonge ameranya. Muchida musingadi. Ameni. Apanda kutaura sakomanda army. Shashandisa inonzi command 40. Yes. Yeah. Yaya masapuku wariti wemusanga chazvigadzira. Yes. Amen. Zanu PF. Amen. Mnangagwa. Amen. Pasine mandu. Ayo. Security forces saka PC mkuru we maudondini.
This is the kind of army we have, who firmly believe that Zanu PF has the divine right to rule. And they have played their part in creating and imposing the de facto one-party state in Zimbabwe. This is the problem. Forget the 35 so-called corrupt individuals. As long as we've got a political system that imposes leaders and they're not accountable to the people, we will have this problem. The 35 named individuals by Geza as being corrupt, nobody denies that they are corrupt. But anyone will have to be very naive to think that is the comprehensive list, the definitive list. Now we will have no corrupt leaders in the country. That is nonsense. As long as we have got a political system in which leaders are elected by a few and imposed on the nation, and they are accountable to only those select few, the country is going nowhere. In other words, the problem is not the individual dictator and a few around him. The problem is the system itself, the dictatorship itself. This is what we must address. In this video, Geza came up with this list of the people whom he says the revolution is targeting. And has not addressed the issue of restoring power to the people. And here is one of Zanu PF, as herself a former Zanu PF, a liberation, she fought in the Liberation War. And then afterwards, when the country became independent, she was a Zanu PF member of parliament and became an independent, talking to the issues of the problem with the political system. We have a political system that has reduced the ordinary people to third-class citizens. Yes, the people are supposed to have a vote as contrast to what the wise did, but in reality, their vote does not count. Here is Margaret Longo speaking to that issue.
They have wrong priorities, especially the current government. How can you go and build an airport which services a few people, and the majority are the elite and the so-called investors? Look at the rural. I made you come to interview me because I wanted you to have the experience of the roads that we are using. If we go today to our hospital there, you feel pity with that's a hospital in a rural area. If we go to our clinic, you feel pity. We have no piped water here. Do you know the reason why the rural people vote for Zanu PF? One, they're intimidated. Two, the policy is that the rural people should remain poor and subservient to the government. They should remain poor, because if they remain poor, they continue singing the song for their master. This is why these people have been impoverished. It's for a reason. Because at the moment, if you economic empower these people, they'll go out of hand. Zanu PF will never have control over them.
Thousands and thousands and thousands, right? Dzakasara mumasango dzisina makuva, ko mathausand akasara panyadzonya, mathausand akasara pachimoyo, mathausand akasara kufreedom camp, mathausand akasara kubukushi. Akasarira chii? Kana isusu tichiri vapenyu, right? Tichisiya nyika iri mumaoko memacriminals because of Mnangagwa spy yakatiwa neredivision special branch. Povu yedu nana mjibha vedu sana mjibha vari vachikonyeperwa. Nyoranai mazita ikoko, nyoranai mazita ikoko. Ezvino so it's 40 years down the line, right? Hapana chabuda. Saka ndiri kutaura kuti tazvipira isu vawo veterans, tazvipira vawo veterans nepovo yose yeZimbabwe, right? Tichipa direction kuti toda kusiya nyika iri mumaoko makanaka, toda kusiyirai nhaka, right? Tabvisa nyika munana Mnangagwa nematsotsi ake. Ndinokutendai mhuri yeZimbabwe, uyai neuwandu hwenyu, but iri basa taakutotaka kutoita rematsotsi nemapolitical criminals. Renyu hombe munoriita muswaseti one first. Tokudai mose. Toda kuti tiite inonzi uprising from Plumtree to Mutare, from Zambezi to Limpopo.
Well. This is just a repeat of 2017. The list that he has come up with is not the definitive list of all those that are corrupt. The uprising that he's talking about does not do anything to dismantle the dictatorship. It does not do anything to give power to the ordinary people. The war veterans still believe that they have the divine right to dictate what the nation must do and where it must go. At the heart of our failed political system is the reality that we as a nation failed to look into this issue with the seriousness and urgency the matter demanded. When the nation decided to go to wage an armed struggle, we should have also realized that inherent in the armed struggle is the problem that it may throw up leaders who would think themselves above, special, above everybody else. And asking that question would have entailed the nations coming to a decision that if that was to happen, what are we going to do about it? Armed struggles do throw up the kind of leaders who believe that they are special. And in Zimbabwe, we have had those kind of leaders in a great abundance. And Mugabe and his cronies have encouraged that. Indeed, as we saw with senior army, police, and CIO officials, your promotion depended on it. The war veterans themselves, if you want to remain a war veteran, you had to pledge your allegiance to Zanu PF. The police, the same thing. We can pretend all we want, but the truth of the matter is, most of our government institutions are departments of Zanu PF in all but name. This is at the heart of our problem. Zanu PF has corrupted our institutions such that they do not serve the nation's best interest. They put Zanu PF's interest first above all else. The war veterans, our friend here, Geza, as much as he wants to say that he wants to leave the country a free nation, his commitment, first and foremost, is to Zanu PF. These are individuals who believe that Zanu PF has a divine right to rule the country. He will never dismantle the de facto one-party state. What we are seeing that is happening in Zanu PF as we saw in 2017, is that one faction of the party fighting the other for control of the party. But make no mistake about it, both the two factions are committed to keeping the de facto one-party state. Geza's revolution is just another version of the 2017 coup. The people made the mistake of believing that the coup was about restoring the people's rights and not just removing Mugabe. In the end, they realized it was too late, that it was just a musical chair to replace one dictator with another. And what we are seeing now is yet another musical chair to remove one dictator and 37 others around him and replace him with yet another dictator. And in this case here, some of the corrupt leaders rejected in the military coup of 2017 are staging a comeback. We're just going round and round in circles here. I honestly believe that the people of Zimbabwe should be smart enough to realize that this is getting us nowhere. The Geza, so-called Geza revolution, if people supported it, came out in their thousands to support it, you only give that faction the oxygen it needs to seize power and impose itself, just as the Mnangagwa faction seized power in 2017. What we should be focusing on is demanding that we dismantle the dictatorship itself. If you support the Geza revolution, you're giving up that. You can't have it both ways. I think people should stick to the real change we want. We should tell Geza that the list that he's given, the 35 people that is listed as corrupt, is not the definitive list. There are corrupt individuals, including himself, Chiwenga, and many others that will form the Chiwenga administration. We want a political system in which the right of the individual, of every Zimbabwean, to a meaningful say in the governance of the country is restored as a matter of course. Anything else is a waste of time. The right to a meaningful say in the governance of the country is more than just a right. It is the essence of good governance. Zimbabwe is a failed state because for the last 45 years, we've been deprived of a competent, accountable government. The buffoons that the so-called war veterans have imposed on the nation have failed the nation. The war veterans still believe that they have got the right to put it right, which is what Geza is talking about. Before we go, we want to make sure that the country has a good government. How are you doing that? Coming up with another short list of corrupt leaders whom you consider to be corrupt. Meanwhile, you retain another list and even recycle some of the dead wood from the past and impose them as the nation's next leaders. How anyone can fail to see this as just going round and round in circles beggars belief. Think about it. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.